Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday. My name is Alex. If you don't know, if this is your first time online to this meeting, you can say something in the chat box there. Also, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer about either meditation, about loving kindness, about anything Buddhism related, you can think about that now, and you can actually post that question whenever you feel like it. If you want to get up in the middle of meditation and go, oh, I just thought of a question, you can just type it in, and then we'll get to it afterwards, and that's okay. So today's pajamas, if you can't tell, and if this is your first time, I like pajamas. I have a lot of pajamas now. So today's pajamas are penguins. I don't know if you can see the penguins. They're penguins. And it says, out cold, with some Z's. Out cold. Oh. Out cold. Out cold. That's what happens to us when difficult things happen in our lives so often. Something that really just throws us for a loop, just kind of knocks us down and really upsets us, or something happens like that, like this virus that's going on and everyone's in a lockdown, and it's not really pleasant. And this certainly wasn't expected as we went into 2020. Certainly in the last couple of weeks, I think about 10 million people in the US have filed for unemployment, and so they're out of a job. And so it's something like that knocks us out cold when that happens. I know how that feels too. And, so often when something like that happens and we're not prepared, we get angry and we get upset, and we question what life is all about, and we worry about where we're going to live the next month, or what we're going to eat tomorrow, or something like that. And these are all things to think about for sure, and they occupy much of our time and much of our day. And I know that's happened. If that's happened to you, my heart is with you. And this is a place where we can come tonight and either have loving kindness for yourself if that's happened to you, or if that hasn't happened to you and you know people who that's happened for, or even if you don't, you can do this practice of loving kindness for them too. There are so many people to do this practice for. And that's what we're gonna kind of dedicate our practice to, I think today. The word that we're talking about in Buddhism when we're talking about loving kindness is metta, M-E-T-T-A. And this is a wonderful word. It's from an ancient language called Pali, which is the language which is probably pretty close to what the Buddha spoke. And the wonderful thing about these ancient words is that when they're translated into English, they mean a lot more than just one thing. They mean lots of things. It means loving kindness, as you know. It means unconditional friendliness, goodwill, a wish to be happy. And not only a wish to be happy, a wish for people to do the things that cause happiness. I know that when really difficult things happen to me now, what I do is I sit down and I meditate, and I grab my beads. I have these mala beads, and I just start chanting. I'm repeating these phrases, just may I be happy, may I be happy. And I repeat these phrases of loving kindness for myself. And I'm really, really lucky because I don't have a problem doing that anymore. And I know some of you do, and we can certainly work on that today with this practice, especially if you're going through a lot of changes and a lot of turmoil in your life. But one of the things I think that will help, I think, even though what's going on is very, very serious, is not to be so serious. That's one of the reasons I wear these, animal pajamas. I have my penguin pajamas. Last week was my llama pajamas. Yes, I still like saying that. And I think that I wear them, or I started wearing them to remind myself to relax just a little bit, to go easy on myself, that I know things are happier. And if we bring this really serious attitude of that we have in life into meditation, our meditation probably isn't going to go very well, or we're going to have a really difficult time. And so that to the degree that you can relax and let go, even for this short period of time in meditation, that's the degree that your meditation has that possibility of being a really heart-opening experience. Instead of meditating like we're really gruff and just going, I'm going to do this loving kindness, may you be happy, and just that kind of serious attitude, which a lot of us actually do take into meditation, and we actually have this attitude. It's not going to put us in really good stead, I should say. Right? So let's cultivate this attitude of no struggle. So we don't want to struggle in our meditation with what's going on in our life, with our position, with our seated position, with whatever aches and pains we have in our body, or anything like that. So if you're new to this meditation, or if you're new to loving kindness meditation, let's go over some basic seated positions here. So if you're seated on a cushion or a mat, you just want to make sure that your hips are higher than your legs. So you got this tripod here. And the reason why we make this tripod, it's really stable. So I'm not likely to move around a whole lot. If you can't put your legs in a position similar to this, that's okay. It's not available to everyone. Just sit in a cross-legged position that's comfortable for you. And if you're seated in a chair or on your bed, on the side of your bed or something like that, that's fine. Just go ahead and put your legs like it's a few inches apart with your hands on your legs like that. That's perfectly fine. If you remember anything that I tell you, just remember to keep your back straight. So I like to make my back super deep straight and just kind of relax. So my shoulders have dropped, but my core is still somewhat engaged. And, my back is straight. So it's really important to keep your back straight. Your head is nice and straight. If you want, you can tuck your chin under a little bit, extending the spine. And your hands can really be anywhere that's comfortable. So I usually alternate my hands between my legs and my lap. So anything like that is fine. Okay, lots of instructions on sitting. And the final instruction on sitting is your eyes. You can either open your eyes or have your eyes open. You can close your eyes, which is just what I do. Or if closing your eyes is gonna make you uncomfortable, you can half close your eyes and look 45 degrees down past your nose in this kind of soft, unfocused gaze. That's what a lot of people do. So just do what's comfortable for you. We're going to I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sure it was amazing. Anyway, we're going to do our meditation. How about that? We're going to do our meditation. Oh, I know. So we're going to just do some breathing meditation. We're going to connect with the breath for a few minutes, and then we're going to get into our meditation. And, I'm going to give you a couple of options in this meditation. You could either repeat phrases of loving kindness for you or your benefactor, or you can just imagine yourself radiating loving kindness from your heart to theirs. And different people like to do it different ways. How it's normally taught, here, even in the West and the East, is to repeat phrases. But if you've ever read the Metta Sutra, which is the Buddha's instructions on loving kindness, he mentions that you radiate love. You radiate this love and loving kindness, this goodwill. So you can even radiate. So you can say phrases, you can radiate. So just do what's comfortable for you to do. All right. And so let's get our seated position going. I'm going to get out my handy dandy timer here. For the next few minutes, just relax, let go. And let's do this amazing practice, this transformative practice of loving kindness. I don't have my bell. Look at that. Okay, now I have my bell. Mistakes are okay. Now we're ready to go. As the shirt says, I don't know if you can read it, but pitter patter, let's get at her, all right? So just allow your eyes to close. Making sure you have that position that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable, so you're not likely to move around a whole lot. Although if you need to move, you can certainly do that. So let's start to pay attention to our breath. You can focus on your breath at the base of the nostrils, feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Let's take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing it, letting it be quite easy and quite natural. And so along with this attitude of no struggle, when we sit like a Buddha. We sit with our spine erect, with a sense of dignity and purpose. And we can even imagine ourselves sitting underneath the Bodhi tree of enlightenment, thinking, yes, me too. With all that's going on, me too. And the Buddha said that you can't do it in this lifetime. You can find this freedom from suffering. So that's why it helps to imagine yourself as a Buddha. If you have a thought that arises, that's okay. We have this wonderful technique called labeling. So when you have a thought that arises, you could just say, thinking, and come back to the breath. Just that act of saying thinking will snap the mind back to the present moment. Where you have the possibility of expressing this loving kindness to its fullest intention. So just for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. And so to begin our practice of loving kindness, we're going to start with our benefactor. And a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love and great kindness. Someone who you just think of this person and your heart just smiles. And you just smile. It could be your mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, or really anyone who is inspirational to you, you've really learned a lot from and are really grateful for. They can be living or not living, that doesn't matter. It can be your child, perhaps not a romantic partner, but anyone other than that, pretty much fair game. And so just think of this person and call this person in your mind. And they just want to be happy. And you just want them to be happy. And it's really easy to do this practice for them. In tradition, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can use traditional phrases like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. And you can use one or more of those phrases or make up your own phrase so long as it has a loving and a kind intention. Or if you don't want to do that, you can simply just imagine this beam of loving kindness going from your heart to theirs. And it helps to smile when you do it. You could even put your hand over your heart when you do it. So you can do either way. You can do one or more benefactors, doesn't matter. So just for the next few moments, let's do this practice of metta, of loving kindness for our benefactor. And so now we can shift our focus from doing loving kindness for our benefactor to imagining this same benefactor or a different one doing this practice for us. There are so many people that love us. And whether we want to admit it or not, this is the truth. And so for this person who has shown you great love and great kindness, you can imagine them doing this practice for you, saying, may you be happy, and say your name. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. Or you can imagine them radiating loving kindness from their heart to yours. And this is where it really is helpful to put your hand over your heart, because your other job here is to notice. Is there any resistance when you imagine your benefactor doing this practice for you, saying these phrases? And if there is, that's fine. And you can meet it with this gentle and loving attention. Say, that's okay. That's okay. And you can still imagine your benefactor doing this practice for you. Again, you can have more than one benefactor doing this for you. It's okay. But just do this practice and notice what's there. And can you let go enough? If there's any resistance, can you let go? And can you just receive this? Can you let this in? Can you let this love tenderize you, soften you up? So we'll just do this for the next few minutes. And smile. And now we can shift our focus again from imagining our benefactor doing this for us to then just doing this for ourselves, or doing this practice for ourselves. You can put your hand over your heart or not, but it sometimes really helps to do so, just to see if there's any resistance and to see if you can breathe into that resistance and give it a little bit of space. Don't fight it, just let it be there and do its thing. It'll go away. And open. So we're repeating these phrases for ourselves. May I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and live at ease in this world. And finally, the last part of this loving kindness meditation is to take this practice and to do it for either all beings in all directions, everyone affected by this terrible virus that's going around and who's been affected by it. So many people that are suffering that can use some thoughts of loving kindness, who are knocked out cold because of it. Families of the ones who have perished. Who can we open our hearts to? Either again saying phrases or just radiating loving kindness to them. And so we'll end our practice with this. So just open your eyes when you're ready. And just take the next 90 seconds out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping those thoughts of loving kindness about you. And then we'll begin. Okay. If you haven't been to my class here at the temple or online, I always do this period of silence right after the meditation. And this silence is really, really good. And this silence really helps us, when we're still mindful, it really helps us to make our practice important and to make it mean something. So often when we meditate, we want to be good meditators, and so we sit down and we set the alarm or the clock or the timer, and then we do our meditation and the timer goes off and we go, oh, okay, I'm done. And then you immediately go out and do something mindless. So you stop meditation, the timer goes off, and you immediately get up and go watch TV, or you immediately get up and look at your email on your phone, or you immediately get up and go fight with your partner or your kids, or you immediately get up and drive off somewhere. And just this 90 seconds period of silence after our meditation, and maybe we can reflect on our meditation or just be silent and maybe be grateful for our meditation, really helps us to make our practice mean something. That this practice isn't just a checkbox of things to do during your day. So that's why I think it's really important. My teacher said it's, kind of akin to climbing to the second floor of a building and then jumping out the window. What's the point? You just jumped out the window. So let's make our practice mean something. So now, this is normally question and answer time. Sometimes I have something that I like to share. I shared a little bit at the beginning of class, and I can share some more if I need to share. But you can talk about what knocks you out cold. You can talk about questions on the instructions at all, or questions on what you experienced. Actually, I just like to know what you experienced. Was there any resistance when you were doing this practice for yourself? Was there any resistance? Did placing your hand over your heart help? Was doing this practice for yourself difficult? Did you feel any resistance there? Did you have difficulty finding a benefactor? There's so many questions I have for you but I've told you some of them. And if you'd like to respond with just, to any one of those, that's also all right.
So Bill shared that he tried radiating love instead of phrases for the first time. He enjoyed it and pictured a gold ray of light representing love to himself and to others.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. And that's perfect. And, that's actually new. Not new, it's new for me. Sorry. It's new for me to give an instruction for, just to radiate loving kindness, because in the Buddha Sutra, the Metta Sutra, the Buddha goes, radiating loving kindness to the entire world. And so one of my favorite monks in the whole world his name is Bhikkhu Anayalo, and he's a German monk in the Sri Lankan tradition. And he's just obscenely smart. He's incredibly smart. He's very, very learned in Buddhism. He goes, well, the Buddha's telling you right here to radiate, so just radiate. You don't even have to say phrases, just radiate. And so it's not until recently where I've been giving you the option during my class to whether you get to radiate or whether you're going to say phrases. So I'm also eager to know which one worked better for you. So Bill, thank you so much for saying that radiating really worked better for you, and that it was something that was new, that was kind of heart opening. So thank you.
Margaret said, "This is beautiful and so very needed. Thank you for spending time with us tonight."
Thank you, Margaret. This is such a gift. This practice of loving kindness is such a gift. For me, it's a gift for me to share, and it's a gift to hear you respond so positively. And so thank you so much, Margaret.
Rose shared that she noticed resistance at different moments. This was the first time the benefactor towards herself, and it made her cry.
Mm-hmm.
She's always done it the opposite way,
Mm-hmm.
but never pictured someone doing it for her.
Mm-hmm. So you never pictured someone doing this practice for you, and it made you cry. How fantastic. How fantastic. And for everyone out there, everyone who's watching online right now, for each one of you, do you have any idea how many people love you? How many people are rooting for you? How many people are on your side? How many people would do anything for you? How many people care about you? So often when we're knocked out cold, we forget this because we're so into what's happening to us. But for everyone out there, there's so many people who love you and who would gladly just say these phrases to your face, given the opportunity. Just as you would do it for them, they would do it for you. There's so many people who love you. And I'm glad that this brought you to tears and that this opened your heart when you realized this. Thank you so much.
Donovan shared hands over heart is now a part of their daily practice since you suggested a couple weeks ago. They found it very helpful to allow the resistance to pass away.
Mm-hmm.
And they also said using the phrases in the beginning helps focus their mind, and then they switch into the radiating.
Isn't that great? So using the phrases at first, and then when you maybe get a little comfortable, then do radiating. That's fantastic. And yeah, the hand over your heart really helps. So often when I was introduced to this practice, I was the kind of person, 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, that if you gave me instructions, that's exactly the way I did it. Because that's the way it was taught, and this is traditional, and this is the way, and this is, I would say that in my mind, I would think this is the only way and the best way. I would just kind of like dogmatize it and religify it, and all those get hooked on it, right? and get attached to it and suffer because of it. But over time, I've really changed the way that we do this. And the way that we do this practice now is I got from Jack Kornfield when I was looking for different ways to do this practice. And it's really, people have really responded to it. So I'm quite grateful to have found this and to know that it really, really works. The hand over your heart is such a simple thing to do. It's such a simple thing to do, just to feel what's going on there. And if there is pain, to not do the natural thing that we do when we normally come across pain is to either ignore it or or to like just get too caught up into it, and just let it be. Just let it be. Because when there's resistance, that's the heart saying, help me, listen to me. I'm hurting. I just need you to listen. And so if you can just listen and to respond with this kindness of, it's okay. It's okay that this is happening. And with all the loving kindness in the world, with all the loving kindness in my heart, I'm just going to breathe into this and just let it be. And you'll see how this can be transformed. So I'm glad that really worked for you. It's interesting to because there's resistance for everybody at some point, right? And so it's interesting to know or to explore what is your limit. So many things are happening. What is your limit? What's the thing that sets you off, that makes you explode, that makes you lose it? What is that one thing? There's a wonderful, wise teacher named Pema Chodron who said, maybe she got this from another teacher, but she said, never underestimate your low tolerance for discomfort. Because there's so many things that just a little bit of discomfort can send us like flying off the edge, right? It should just set us off. Back in the day, like back when I was like in my early 20s, when I was, I think I was out of the Navy then, and I was like in my mid 20s, 24 to like 29 or something like that. So many things set me off. To people, I was really, really nice and really, really shy. But if I knew you, if I felt comfortable with you, you got to hear just all of my judgments. I don't like this. I don't like that. Those people should do this, blah, 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 blah. And every little thing that I would see on TV or the news or, whatever it was, because there was no internet back then, would just, set me off in some way. And then it just seemed normal. And I wasn't suffering about it at all. Or so I thought. And then over the years, many years later, I come to this practice. And even when I first came to this practice, I was on the same way. I hadn't grown much. And noticing that happens was like, whoa. I can't believe that this happened. And it took a lot to not be really judgmental about myself for all those judgments that I had. And that the better use of my time or the better use of this practice was just to see those and respond to those with as much loving kindness as possible. Always saying to myself, it's okay. I can't tell you the amount of times I repeated to myself, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I think that's one of the reasons why, this practice becomes automatic for me when something that knocks me out cold, I automatically go sit in meditation and repeat these phrases of loving kindness for myself. And it's okay. I can do that. So whatever that is for you, just know what it is. Just know what it is. So we got 5 minutes left. I'd love to hear at least one more, maybe two if we can get to it.
So Marisa asked if you could talk about the 5 recollections.
Yeah, if I remember what the 5 recollections are. I don't remember what all the 5 recollections are.
Aging, illness, death, separation, karma.
Karma, yeah. Aging, illness, death, separation, karma. Aging, illness, and death. And this is what the Buddha discovered. These were 3 of kind of like the calling cards to practice for the Buddha. And these help us to really realize how precious this life is and how precious our life is, because we're not here for a long time. We think 80 years is a long time. 80 years is nothing. Or 100 years, even if you're 100 years old, 100 years is nothing. It's not a long time to practice, to get things, to practice, to be kinder, to be all those wonderful things. Aging, illness, death, separation, and karma. The separation one is hard, so I'm just going to skip that just really quickly. And karma can be really, really hard too. In the separation one, the Buddha's basically saying is don't hold anyone dear. And this is a really big teaching. Don't hold anyone dear, because holding people dear just makes you suffer when they're gone. And when you hear it like that, it sounds very cold. What do you mean don't hold anyone dear? I'm not supposed to love my spouse or my children or my parents or all of my friends or anything like that. So it's a difficult teaching, and basically what he's saying is just don't get too attached. Don't get so attached, because even I remember when the Buddha died. When the Buddha died, and there was all these people around him, the enlightened monks just sat there and they understood. And he was saying there are so many people, like in the sutra it says there's so many people like beating their chest and wailing because they didn't get it. They didn't understand that we're on this earth a short time, and its lifespan is basically the same for everybody. Everyone is going to die at some point. The moment we're born, we start dying. So what are we going to do with this life? I mean, there's a lot more I can say, but we don't have a ton of time. Was there something else, or was there something else, or no? There's nothing. Something else.
Just Josh saying he's missing us.
You too, buddy. This is putting me on my edge. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It was wonderful to have you. Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation and this discussion be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are. Thank you for coming.